And I'm going to try to stay less than like 45 minutes because it's really hard to watch a videotape of a course for an hour. So we'll try to focus on 45 minutes. And I have like 5 or 6 key things that I want to talk to you about. And then I want to make sure that you have your questions answered. So I want to open the floor for, and this is not the best word to say it, but kind of the bitch session. So we can, so we can kind of get out our feelings. And then I'm going to go over Rick's case. I'm going to go over and I'm going to go over VideoScribe a little bit, and then let you know next week we'll focus on final project and what that's about. Cool?
Great.
Okay. So let's kind of get, kind of the stress out. How you feeling?
I had a question about the discussion posts and when we should be doing them.
Okay.
And if, so basically I think initially I wasn't sure when they were supposed to be due, and then I think so we were supposed to do the one with, and I'm just pulling up the description of it, the improving learning objectives for trainings. We were supposed to do that one by tonight.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I clearly missed that one. But is there some? So is there some way that I guess something I was thinking, because I think the previous one was supposed to be due on, hold on.
So I'll tell you. So the first week or two, it's always Sunday, because people are still coming in and out of the class.
Yeah.
So my dream would be you post by Wednesday and then go back and post the other by Sunday. But the reality is that people were coming in and out of the course. That wasn't so fair. So I left it Sunday. The learning objectives, I wanted to be able to talk to you about them. So that's why I put Thursday.
Okay.
So for next week, we're going to go back to Sunday.
Okay.
But I wanted to, the only way that you guys can see each other's work is if I put it in a discussion.
Yeah.
So if I just have you uploaded and graded, only I can see it. Okay. There is something called peer review where you can see each other's assignments, but then it puts you in a grading mode, and that's not what I want to do. Yeah. I just want you to be able to see each other's work, so I got to throw it in a discussion to make it. So for this week, it was Thursday. For next week, we're going to go back to Sunday. But hopefully you'll put it up, Friday or Saturday, so somebody else can have a chance to look at it.
I will definitely, so the other thing is, I just, okay, that makes perfect sense. And so going back to that, that'll be fine.
So Sunday for max deadline, but if we could do at least your initial post by Friday so other people can have a chance to digest it before they respond by Sunday, that would be awesome. Okay. Wednesday, I think, is a little tight.
Yeah.
When you're just getting it on Monday, it's a little tight. So let's see how we feel next week with the Sunday, and then if we want to move it up to Fridays, I'm cool with that. Janine and Scott, what are you thinking?
I think that's more than fair.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that too, and it's Sean, not Scott.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sean. My apologies.
It's okay, no worries.
Yeah, when you do the phone, I just see your phone number, so it just says 1203. I have no idea who you are. So.
Okay. Yeah. No worries.
Okay. Okay. So overall, your work is fabulous. I've got to tell you that. I taught this class in spring, and you guys are heads and shoulders above the other class. You're really putting a lot of energy into your work, and you're really being thoughtful. So when I graded Rick's case, I read all of your analysis, and even though some of them weren't what the author was trying to do, I agreed with some of your argument. So I pretty much gave you full credit for attempting the case, and then kind of gave you the answer, right? So Sean, I don't know, I just did that today. I don't know if you saw the answer. So we can go over it a little bit, but it's really important that you kind of know the answer, because that is going to build your VideoScribe. So your VideoScribe is really telling the story of Rick's job loss. So I want you to kind of be on target with the rationale for it as you build it. Cool?
Okay, so with the VideoScribe, we're going to do based on the textbook's kind of direction they want it to go in, not in our own perceived direction.
I want to discuss that. If your perceived direction is sort of okay, we can stay. But if you're way off base, no. Yeah,
because I saw the feedback on mine, do you like what I had to say? I think you mentioned that it wasn't exactly what the author was going for. So, should I base it off of should I just compare them, then kind of take a little bit of both, or should I go off of where the author was trying to go with it?
We're going to try to do what we're going to see if we agree with the author. Is that what I was trying to do today? I'm trying to find exactly your answer, Sean. Nicole, I think you might have done it without a name on it. Yours says, did you say, because there's no name on this, is that he was viewed as an outsider who tried to make these changes? Is that what you said? Can you remember?
Yeah, I talked about like having an in-group and an out-group, and how Rosie kind of like pressured him almost to be in the out-group because he wasn't, like, this is a family-run company, so on and so forth. And how she kind of had like this fixed mindset of, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. I went along that line.
Okay. So, because I'm looking at papers and some of them have no names, so that's why I'm not sure who they are unless I'm looking in Engage. So the actual answer that the author was trying to get at is that you can't go into a company and decide you know the answers and start doing it. It doesn't work.
Right.
And so what's going to happen is you're going to alienate everybody, or you're going to get fired. And that's the gist of what they wanted to do. Hey, Jared, how you doing?
Hello.
I hear you. Hey, cool.
Yep, I think I figured it out.
You actually, we're working on Janine now. She's going to be our next person we're working on getting her video together. So very
Well,
cool.
I think a lot of it has to do with Zoom. For some reason in the Google, I actually accidentally tried going into the Google thing first, and that wasn't working. So I think it might just be that.
I know I'm here, but I'm looking at myself.
Okay. So Janine, you know what we'll do is maybe like tomorrow, we'll try to Zoom each other to get your camera working. I lost her. Okay. All right. So we're talking about Rick's case. Okay. We're talking about.
Hello.
Janine, you sound a little drunk. You all right? Your mic is doing some weird stuff.
Is not there. We're having a little bit of a storm.
Don't worry.
So
Don't stress.
Be part of the problem.
Okay.
All right. How's that?
Better. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, it might have to do with the storm.
All right, so when we meet, I want you to have your camera on. I want you to put your picture inside your profile on Engage, because some of the stuff we do are actually modeling it for the people that take courses with us, right? So if we don't have our picture in Engage and we don't use our camera, people won't do it because we're not modeling it. So I'm kind of pushing you a little bit to kind of get it that way. So I know it's kind of uncomfortable, but we're going to push you. Okay, Rick. Rick, I really needed you to get out of this is to know the expectancy theory and a couple of the other theories, and you do really well with that. And that just understand that Rick took his MBA and thought he knew everything. That's pretty the gist of it, right? And as you start to bring technology and online classes into your jobs, you're going to have people that are resistant. They're not going to do it, especially if you work for companies that have people that are 20 years. They don't want to hear it. So you got to figure out what's the middle ground, right? And some of the tools that I'm going to teach you, like Video Scribe, soften it. So the entrance to a website that kind of gives you a little cartoony kind of interactive things kind of softens people's resistance a little bit, because they find it a little more friendly. So that's what you're trying to do with Video Scribe. You're using Rick's case study to build a Video Scribe, but that's going to turn into the intro to your e-learning course at the end, right? So the things that you're learning in each week are part of your final project. You're just doing some drafts to learn it. So your Google site that you're making for your own portfolio will be the outline of your e-learning workshop. The Video Scribe will be the intro into your workshop when you decide what it's going to be. And next week we'll talk about deciding on a topic to pick to teach. Cool? Okay. Questions about Rick? Now, looking at what you said and what the author said, how far were you removed from his thinking?
I think I identified a lot with Rick, and so I sort of approached it from like, okay, this is how the people at the company, like this is how these things manifest for the people in the company, and this is how like his actions triggered these responses in them, and sort of identified like the deficiencies with the folks in the company, rather than fully going into what Rick should have done differently. Because there are a number of things that he should have done differently, and especially as I'm looking at the response that you sent to me, that makes a lot of sense. And also it shows where like, you know, I think, for example, let's play it up.
Yeah, because you really said that he just didn't fit. You know, he just didn't fit. So that might have been the undercurrent for why everything he wanted to do he didn't get accepted. Outside of Rick, the reality is that, you know, we're going to have to push people a little bit if we're going to be the providers of the e-learning environment. So sometimes we're going to be in a predicament with the company because we've got to push something. In your future, do you see yourself being trainers, e-learning trainers? What do you see yourself doing with this e-learning knowledge?
I already do some of this in my job.
Okay.
And so I do sometimes encounter some of those things and like have to, you know, but it's not, obviously not to the same extent that he had that kind of resistance, because there's a lot more support obviously for the things that that we're doing, but it's definitely like, you know, thinking more about like, okay, this is how you sort of accommodate you know, different types of learners, and this is how you accommodate people who are resistant to change. And I definitely saw that, like, for example, it was sort of like self-centered for him to like just bring in the computer, rather than like, hey, this is the benefit of using computers, and we should all get computers, and not just like, okay, well, I have a computer, so I'm just going to bring it in.
Exactly.
And then, so like, you know, sort of like showing people how to use things, like showing people the benefits of things, instead of just like assuming they should get it, or assuming that they're not going to feel some kind of way about you, just like, you know.
Exactly. Jared, what do you think you're going to do with this stuff?
To be honest, I'm not 100%. I mean, the job that I'm in right now, it is it's not a long-term thing.
Okay.
So it's hard for me to pinpoint exactly how I'll be using this in the future, because I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing in the future. You know, part of this degree is obviously going to, you know, decide what field I go into after this. But I mean, just based off the way that, you know, most companies, especially the federal government, which is what I'm looking to get into, you know, does things nowadays, I'd say it's pretty likely that I could use it or be a teacher in some form.
I definitely think federal government is definitely like Peterson. They're kind of archaic a little bit, so you will find some resistance there for sure. Sean, what are you going to do with your e-learning knowledge?
I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm looking for jobs right now and studying for my mortgage exam. So, I mean, obviously I can see it being useful. I think most people would agree that a bunch of the classes in this program I can kind of apply to what we'll all be doing eventually, or what we're doing currently. So I'm definitely excited about it.
Okay. So I'm thinking most of you are building kind of your toolkit, you know, on when you get the opportunity to do this kind of training, you'll just have a good toolkit on how to do it. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, because most people that get into e-learning have never taken a course. They just go, I like computers, and go for it. So I appreciate you spending the time kind of getting some, some pedagogy about how to do it. Boy, Janine is all over the place there.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, my girl.
Zoomed it twice.
You're like, there's like 15.
Must have opened twice.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So how have you had a chance to look at least what VideoScribe is?
Yeah, I went through it today a little bit.
Okay. It can feel a little daunting and overwhelming because it's an animation, but once you kind of get the hang of it, you can start to integrate images and things. So I would say take a look at it soon. Figure out who Rick is, the character, right? And then you don't have to do all the details. You're just pretty much synthesizing your, I think really you're synthesizing question 1 is what you're doing. So why was Rick let go is what you're trying to do. I don't think you're trying to squeeze in all 4 questions. So you're just going to say something like, hey, here's Rick. He works for Peterson Paper Products, and he thought he would really make a change. And then do a little history, and then say, the result was he got fired. Why do you think he was? And then you say something about resistance theory. I think it's like a commercial you're trying to make. So focus on question 1 that you're going to animate. Cool? Question 1. So not just question 1 you try to animate. So I'm looking at like less than a minute is what you're going to try to do with that animation. So far so good?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, and I know it's a lot of digesting, and I'm giving you a lot of things, but understand I'm going to tie those things in probably by week 5. So you're doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of this, and then it'll start making sense when you build your full course. Next piece that I'm going to talk about is learning objectives. Now, I'm putting you on the spot, but I'm willing to give you some more time. So if the learning objectives assignments was too much for today, I'm okay with just kind of going for it and looking at what you turn in on Sunday, if that works better for you, if you haven't had time to look at it. So
Yeah.
just be honest and tell me what you need.
I haven't looked at it yet.
Okay.
I still need to finish reading the chapter.
Okay. Okay, so let me tell you why I think it's important and why you focus on it, and then I will just give you the time to do it, and then just go ahead and submit it by Sunday, okay? So learning objectives are the guide that tell you what to teach. For instance, you would say, in this course, the learning objectives is students will learn 5 tools. It's that clear. Students will understand 4 theories. Students will digest case analysis, right? What I want you to do on this assignment is I've given you bad learning objectives. So the verb is not accessible. So students will understand. You can't assess that. How will they would understand it? Students will design, then you can see them design. So students will design an animated video scribe. And then when you turn in the video scribe, I can see if you designed it or not. So you're looking at the verb is what you're trying to do. You're trying to make sure the verb is meaningful and accountable to the professor. So I've given you 5 or 6. You're going to look at the list of verbs in Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy is a chart. It says from 1 to 4. You want to use verbs in the 4 column, right? Create, facilitate, discern. You don't want to use ones like will read. Read is not what you want your students to do. You want them to do a little more than just read. So you're trying to just expand on the learning objective, okay? So I think I can talk more about it after you've tried to do it a little bit. So we're going to still put it in the discussion. You're going to still see each other's. And then as people are coming up with different ways on how to put verbs into those learning objectives, you will post to a peer, and then I'll jump in and I'll say, well, I think that's a great verb, but how do you think, what would be the product that person would have to submit in order for it to be that verb? So like design, they would have to have an assignment that they design something. And if they're like a Con Edison employee and you're talking about, distributing power, they wouldn't have the ability to design it. So that's what you're looking for. So let's just push that off till Sunday, but that's going to make your Sunday kind of heavy, guys. You're going to have video scribes, you're going to have learning objectives, and you're going to have a couple more things you have to do by Sunday. How are you feeling about that?
The other thing, so like the Google
Site.
The Google site, and also adding to the quiz and stuff like that. That's all, I mean, at least for me, I already took care of those things. It was just a matter of getting to actually finish the reading to be able to do the learning objectives.
Right.
All very doable. Like it all seems quite doable.
So I'm giving you those little tasky things are actually getting you to the final project, right? So you got a couple little tasky things. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to see if I can show you those, okay? All right, so I think okay, so here's a site here. I don't know whose this is. Let's see who I have here. Oh, okay, so
I think if it's mine, I gave it to you through the Manhattan one.
okay. My machine at home just does whatever it wants to do. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. You were correct by giving it to Manhattan. Okay, nope, it's not letting Manhattan do it.
Then
So
that maybe that's not mine.
yeah, maybe that's not yours. I was all ready for this question, and now we're not. Okay, Google Sites. Let's see if I go back. Let's see who this is. Okay. Someone I know needed to give me permissions. I think I sent you an email on that, so let's see who that is. That's Matthew. Okay, so Matthew's not on the line. This is Thomas is not on the line. Let's see. Here you go, my girl. And I really like the way you said the link can be found here. So I like the way you did this. I also like this one with the training portfolio. What I don't want is this URL. So I want you to do the word and then make it link. Is everybody pretty clear about how I want it to look? Yes? Well,
Yes,
except
yes.
for Sean. You can't see what I'm doing, Sean. I apologize. Okay.
It's okay. Are you talking about the Google form?
I'm talking about the way that you put URLs in your assignments. The way you submit your URLs, right? So you submit it as a word that links to the product, because from now on, you're going to be giving me a lot of links. So I just want to click on it. So here, okay, so here is Acacia, right? Am I saying that right?
Acacia. Either way.
Acacia. Thank you. Okay, so I like this. I like it simple, and then you've got a button for your resume, you've got a button for your vision, and then an icon for your portfolio. Very clean. Nice. Janine and Jared, are you seeing that model?
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not asking you to do it with these images. It could just be about me, vision, and portfolio as words, right?
Mhm.
But however you do it is fine with you. Fine with me.
Okay.
I just want the words so that you can link to them. We can get fancy later, but this is very well done. Very well.
Sure.
Okay. Google. That answers the question for the Google site. There was a question on Google Quiz. Sean, did you have a question on Google Quiz? Putting the sections in, were you cool with that?
Yeah, no, I figured it out. Yeah, I took care of all that and I handed that in. I resubmitted it.
Okay, so the thing about the questions, the quiz is every week I'm going to make it a little more difficult and a little harder, because if you have any e-learning background, someone will ask you, hey, can you do a quiz? Can you do a survey? And a lot of people don't know how, or they go to SurveyMonkey or something like that, right? So this is a free way of doing it. You don't have to use SurveyMonkey, and it gets really sophisticated and good. So this week was add the correct answers. I'm losing my mind, right? Add the correct actions and the sections, right? And the section should say, I want to go forward or I don't. Was that clear? Everybody was good with that?
Yes, so far.
All right. All right. So week 3 is a tough one, and you're going to have a lot of tasks to do, and I'll grade them. You know, I'll go in every day and give you some feedback as best as I can. I do think that it's going to get a little overwhelming in week 4 and 5. And I know I talked about this before, and I know Janine, you live in New Jersey, but I do have
New York. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No?
I work in New Jersey.
Okay.
And I'm in Staten Island, New York. Yeah.
So if we want to spend an hour or so together in my classroom, just to maybe go over everything and get some more like face-to-face learning, it's really difficult to do all these tools online by yourself. So I'm open to that. Just think about it for next week if you want to do it for, let's say, week 5. Okay, so our Thursday meeting night we could do in my classroom if you want to. Okay? I don't hear anything.
Okay, I'll let you know based on just scheduling at
Okay.
work. We have events and things, so I'll just see if that works with the schedule.
Well, it's real. The question is, do you need it? You know, do you need to kind of sit down with your laptop and we'll be all together is the question we're asking. Are you feeling that you guys need a little more face-to-face time, or you feel fine kind of doing this on your own all week? That's kind of my question.
I'm personally pretty comfortable with it, at least so far.
Okay. Jared, what are you thinking?
I mean, I think the video scribe will probably answer that question one way or the other. I also live in the Washington, D.C. area, so it'd probably be
Okay.
tough for me to,
Tough one. Okay.
yeah.
Keisha, how are you feeling?
I feel good at, doing the self-paced and primarily online, and it does also afford me some flexibility with being at home. But
Okay.
if the meeting in person, I just basically say it works.
Okay, so it's up to you. And then if you want to ever just do one-to-one and come to my office, I'm open for that too. I just don't want you to feel like you're out there in the stratosphere with no support, right? Because this gets a little tricky.
Are you ever on campus Tuesdays? Do you have classes on Tuesdays by chance?
I don't have classes, but I'm always around. So
Okay.
Because I'm a program director, I'm there a lot. And this summer I have summer kids. So I have high school students that work for me in the summer. So I'm usually there from like 12 to 4 or something like that. But can wait for you, no problem.
Okay, yeah, because I'm at the college every Tuesday. So
Yeah, we can set that up, no problem. We can sit down and answer whatever questions you want. I just don't want you to feel out there on your own trying to learn these technologies and trying to figure it out always on YouTube. I think I owe you more than just throwing assignments up on Engage. Okay?
Thank you for offering.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
thank
do not get
Thank
frustrated
you.
and feel alone. You can Zoom me, you can call me, you can come see me in my office. We can sit and have I just want you to know those are open, okay? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions? So I went over Rick's case a little bit. That Rick's case will turn into question 1 will be your video scribe. Learning objectives, I'm going to give you till Sunday, and I'll go back over them next week. And then the final project will kind of go over next week too, so you know what you're trying to get to. So anything else I need to go over? You just want to keep working? Talk to me.
I'm pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with, yeah.
I think I'm talking to my star students, and the people that are not here are the people I probably need to be talking to, I'm feeling, right? So, yes. So I appreciate you. I will see you again are we going to try Thursday at 7? Does that sound good? Or Keisha, do you want to move it?
I can still do, again, he was fine last week. He normally would just go play, but
Okay.
It's raining, so like he wasn't able to go outside or whatever, and it's
Okay.
summer, so they just go to sleep too late.
And Sean, how are you thinking about next week at 7?
Yeah, that should work for me.
Okay, so we're going to try this week to kind of get our laptops together, make sure our video cameras work, that kind of thing, and meet again. And I can probably meet you, 40, 45 minutes. I can kind of make sure you're okay. This meeting is really for me to know that you're okay and getting everything, because you pay way too much money for a course to be just floundering out there, right? This is not meant for me to have an easy way of putting up assignments. It bothers me when my students don't understand where they're going and what's it mean and what I want out of assignments. So please always email me, ask me questions. I am here for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I will see you next week.
Great.
Sounds good.
Beautiful.
Okay, and I'll send out the recorded, but I doubt that you'll need to look at it. It's probably for the few people that aren't here. I appreciate you guys being my A students. Okay. All right. See you later.
All
Bye-bye.
right, have a good night,
All right,
everyone.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.